Hello, I'm going to show you how to create a calendar appointment for your students if you want them to schedule appointments for you. Canvas has a universal calendar that applies across all of your courses, and you can create a scheduler that will allow them to do so. So let's say that in one of my classes, I want to have some one-on-one conferences with my students to discuss their current progress in the class. And I'm going to create a calendar so they can sign up for an appointment. So if you look on this left-hand navigation, there is a calendar icon, and I'm going to click there. And it's going to take me to my Canvas calendar, and it's going to display all of the due dates I have in all of my courses. So I can see the ones that are crossed out are the due dates that have passed already, and down here are the due dates that are coming up. So if I want to create a scheduler or an appointment calendar, I'm going to come up here to this plus button up here that allows me to create a new event. So I'm going to click on that. And I have a couple of options. If I wanted to create a new event in Canvas, I could do that. If I wanted to create a new assignment, I can do that here. If I wanted to add to my to-do list, but what I want to do is an appointment group. So I want to create some appointment slots for my students to sign up for. So I'm going to click appointment group. I'm going to move this up so you can see it. I don't have a whole lot of room on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to give this a name. So these are my individual conferences with my students. So I'm going to call it Instructor Conference. And the location, let's just say I'm going to do this as a Zoom. So I'm going to say Zoom meeting room. And if you were having, for instance, appointments and the meetings were in your office, or if it was another location such as a classroom, you would specify that there. Okay, now down here where it says select calendars, this is where I'm determining if I want this appointment group to be for all of my classes or just some of my classes. So what's listed is the 4 classes I teach plus my sandbox. So if I wanted this appointment group to be for all of my classes, I would check all of these boxes. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to do my sandbox course so that only the sample students in my sandbox course can see this. So whatever class you select, only the students in that class will see the calendar. So if I only wanted to do appointments for my 2 business communication classes, I would check those 2 boxes, but the students in my international business class and the students in my principles of management class won't see the calendar. So you can specify which class you want. So I'm just going to do my sandbox class, and I'll hit done. Now up here is where I'm choosing the date. So maybe I am setting aside a certain week, and during that week is when I'm going to have all of my student conferences. So let's say the first day, let's say I'm going to have them, a month from now. Let's just say the week of April 13th, okay? And on that Monday, I'm going to put the time that I want my first appointment to be created and the time I want my last appointment to end. So maybe I'm going to do from 10 o'clock until 12 o'clock. So let's say my first appointment will be at 10, my last appointment will be at 12, and that's on the 13th. Maybe I'm going to also do appointments on that Tuesday. So I'm going to check the 14th, and maybe on the 14th, I'm going to do appointments from 1 o'clock until 3 o'clock. Okay? And maybe I'm going to do, I'm going to skip that Wednesday, and maybe I'll do appointments on that Thursday. Also from 10 to 12. Okay. So if I was only doing one day, I could just do one day. Or maybe if I was doing multiple slots on a single day. So maybe I'm going to do 10 to 12 on the 16th. And maybe I'm also going to do in the afternoon on the 16th. Maybe I'm also going to do 2 to 4 on the 16th. So I can create different ranges for different days or different ranges for the same day. Okay, so I know I'm going to have appointments on the 13th and the 14th and the 16th, and my appointments are going to be in 2-hour increments. Now, this spot right here is blank, so I'm just going to hit that X button and get rid of that. Okay, now down here, divide equal slots of, by default is 30 minutes. So maybe I only want my appointments to last for 15 minutes. So maybe I'm going to do 15-minute appointments. So I'm going to take this down to 15. And what this is going to do is create time slots in 15-minute increments from 10 to 12, so 10 to 10:15, 10:15 to 10:30, 10:30 to 10:45, and so forth. And it's going to do that for each one of these. So I want equal time slots of 15, and I'm going to hit this go button. It's going to take a few minutes. And as you can see, it generated my time slots. So 10 to 10:15, 10:15 to 10:30, and I scroll down. Now all of my slots have been created and they are in increments of 15. I could do this in increments of 10, or I can do it in increments of 60 minutes if I want to. Maybe I just realized that I have a meeting on the 16th at 2 o'clock, so I can't do this time, the 2 to 2:15 and the 2:15 to 2:30. So if I want to, I can take that time out. I can delete that one, and maybe I want to delete the 2:15 time. Okay, and then my appointment can start at 2:30. All right. Okay, so now I have a couple of other options. Down here, I can decide if I only want one student to be able to sign up for a time slot. So if I check this box, that means only one student can sign up per appointment. If I don't check it, then I could have 2 or 3 students signing up for the same time slot. Now, you may want to do that. You might want to have, small group meetings where you're meeting with 2 or 3 students at a time. So you actually prefer for multiple students to sign up for one time. Or you might want to do individually and you only want one student to sign up for an appointment. So you would check the limit each time slot. This option here, by default, it's unchecked, meaning a student that goes to the calendar, if there are slots that have already been taken, the student won't be able to see the names of the student who has that slot. They'll simply see that the slot is taken. But for some reason, you might want the students to be able to see who is in what slot. So maybe you have students that are in groups and you want them all to sign up for a similar time. So you want them to see each other's appointments. So then you would check that and they would be able to see the name of the student in the appointment. But if that information is not necessary for them, then you would uncheck that. Okay, another thing is you may want a student to only sign up for one appointment as opposed to signing up for 2 or 3 appointments. So you would check this box that says limit participation to one appointment. Now, if you uncheck this, a student can sign up for more than one, or you might want them to sign up for 2 appointments only. So you have that option here. Now down here in the details section, this is where you might put, for instance, the link to the Zoom meeting. So I'm going to put, since I want to meet with my students during Zoom, my instructions might be, at the time of your appointment, and this is just an example, meet me online via Zoom. Okay, and then I'm going to put my Zoom information. So this is the link to my Zoom meeting, and this is my meeting ID. So now all the students will see this. All right, so now I'm going to hit the publish button. And it's coming, it's just taking a few minutes. Okay, so now we're back to the calendar, and I'm going to scroll to the next month. And just to clean up the screen a little bit, I'm going to uncheck my other courses just so those assignments won't be visible, to make it a little bit cleaner to see. I'm going to make those go away. Okay, so now these are all of the appointments that I created. These are all the slots that students can sign up for. So I've got my 10 to 12 on the 13th. my 1 to 3 on the 14th, and my 10 to 12 and 2:30 to 4 on the 16th. Now, these are kind of grayed out because no students have signed up for them yet. So I'm going to go to a student view so that you can see what it looks like on the student's end. And this will be important for you to know because once you create your calendar, there will probably be some students that will email you asking how do they go set up an appointment. So I'm going to go to my student view, and I'm going to click on the calendar. So this is where you tell your students to go. Tell them to click on the calendar because it doesn't show up by default. Okay. Over here where it says appointments, tell them to click Find Appointment. Okay. And I suspect that Canvas did not by default have this show up so that it wouldn't overcrowd a student's calendar since all of their assignments would normally show up here. So find appointment. And if there were multiple appointment groups for multiple courses, they would click the drop down and select what class. There's only one class in this case, so they're going to hit submit. Okay, now I put the calendar for dates in April, so I'm going to scroll to the month of April. And there are the appointments. So this is the student view. So the student can see all of the times. Now, if a student clicks on, let's say the 10:15 time, they can see that it's unreserved. When they click on it, they see the information I put, the Zoom time, the meeting ID. So if the student decides, maybe I can't do 10:15 on Wednesday, but I can do 10 o'clock on Thursday. So the student will open it up and they will click the reserve button. When they click reserve, Canvas will send you an email telling you the student has signed up for your appointment slot. So every time a student signs up, you will receive an email notifying you that they signed up. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my teacher view and I'm going to refresh the screen. Okay, and now I can see that this appointment has been highlighted, and when I click, I can see that April O'Neill signed up for this time. Okay, now if something happens and she's not able to make the meeting, or she tells me she can't come, or maybe I've had something come up and I want to cancel this slot, I have the option to remove her from this meeting. So I can click that and remove her from it. But if all goes well and she's able to still meet at that time, then it'll just remain the way it is. I also have the option to send her a message right down here. If I click on this, it'll open up a message box and I can say something, like looking forward to meeting with you, you know, and I hit send. This is just an option, or maybe you want to give some special instructions or whatever you need to do. I hit send, and that will show up in April O'Neill's inbox. Okay. Now, if there's a reason why I would need to edit my calendar for any reason, maybe there's some changes that I need to make, I can always come down here to where these group details are. I'll click on that. And it'll take me to the calendar's edit screen where I can make some changes to it. So maybe I need to make some changes in here. I can do that here. So I'll come up here. Okay, there it is. So these are all of my times. Um, all of my appointments. Now, it won't let me delete the current appointments because I've already published the calendar and it's already visible to students. But maybe I want to add some additional time slots. So I can do that. I can create some more time slots, or maybe I want to change it to allow students to sign up for more. Maybe I want to message every student that has signed up for an appointment so far, or maybe I just want to see and over a bird's eye view of all of the appointments that I have so far. So every student that signs up, I would see all of their names here. If for some reason I want to delete this calendar group, then I will scroll back up to the top And I will hit delete group, and that will delete the entire appointment set. So that is how you create appointments for students to schedule with you in Canvas.